Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're stepping into the industrial chic world of rebar furniture and decor. Rebar is one of those materials that's not just incredibly durable and versatile, it's perfect for giving your space that modern, rugged edge. And the best part? You can create stunning pieces without breaking the bank. So, let's dive into some exciting DIY ideas you can try. Before we get started, let's talk about what you'll need. Grab some rebar in various sizes, a cutting tool like an angle grinder or rebar cutter, and don't forget your measuring tape and pencil for marking. If you're welding, have your equipment ready, or if not, a strong epoxy can work for simpler projects. You'll also want sandpaper or a metal file to smooth things out, and paint if you'd like to add some color. And safety first. Always wear protective gear like gloves, goggles, and a mask. First up, let's create a stunning rebar coffee table. Start by cutting 4 pieces of rebar to your desired table height for the legs. For the tabletop, you can use something like a solid wood slab or a sheet of glass. Weld or securely attach the legs to the corners, making sure everything is stable and level. Once it's assembled, sand down any rough edges. And if you want to add a personal touch, feel free to paint the rebar in a shade that matches your style. Next, let's make an eye-catching rebar shelving unit. Cut several pieces for the vertical supports and horizontal shelves, then assemble it by welding or using sturdy brackets to secure everything in place. This piece won't just give you practical storage, it'll become a real focal point in any room. Now for something a bit smaller but just as charming, a rebar plant stand. Cut 4 equal lengths for the legs and 1 for the top ring, creating either a simple tripod or a square design. Make sure it's sturdy enough to hold your favorite pots, and if you like, you can even add small hooks on the sides for hanging tools or trailing plants. And why not try a rebar bench or stool? Begin by crafting a rectangular frame for the base, then add support bars across the top for stability. For the seat, you can use a wooden plank, a foam cushion, or even a custom upholstered top. It's perfect for outdoor spaces or as extra seating indoors. Once your pieces are assembled, take the time to give them a good sanding to smooth out any sharp edges. You can embrace the raw metal for that authentic industrial look, or paint it to blend with your decor. A clear protective coat will help preserve the finish and add a subtle shine. Ever look at a construction site and see more than just a building going up? Look closer, and you might find your next creative project. I'm talking about rebar, those rugged steel rods used to reinforce concrete. It's an incredible material just waiting for a second act in your home. So why rebar? Well, it brings that raw industrial vibe that feels both urban and unexpectedly elegant. Born to be buried in concrete, it's built to last forever. And the best part? It's incredibly affordable, especially if you find offcuts at scrap yards. It's a workable material too. You can cut it, bend it, weld it, or leave it rustic. Plus, by using it, you're giving industrial waste a beautiful new life. It's the very soul of sustainable design. Let's start with furniture. Imagine a rebar coffee table where industrial meets organic. Create a geometric base, a cube, a triangle, something asymmetric, then top it with reclaimed wood, concrete, or a sheet of tempered glass. You can leave the rebar with its natural rust or coat it in a matte black finish. A little pro tip: weld small brackets to hold that glass or wood securely. Or consider a minimalist bench, perfect for a garden or entryway. Just bend a few pieces of rebar into U-shaped legs, connect them with horizontal stretchers, and top it all with a solid slab of reclaimed wood or stone. For something with a mid-century modern twist, try a rebar chair with a webbed seat. Form the rebar into fluid, continuous lines for the frame, then weave the seat with leather straps, rope, or parachute cord. Add some ergonomic curves for comfort, maybe a small cushion, and you've got a unique lounging spot. Don't forget storage. An industrial wine rack can be as simple as a welded, ladder-like structure with angled slots for bottles. Mount it horizontally or vertically, and pair it with some reclaimed wood shelves for your stemware. And for a real statement piece, a rebar bed frame. Design a floating platform base with vertical posts at the corners. You could even incorporate integrated side tables and subtle LED lighting between the layers. Moving into home decor, rebar becomes sculptural. Create wall art by welding abstract 3D shapes, bending rebar into inspirational words, or crafting silhouettes of trees or mountains. Make it living art by designing a trellis-like frame for hanging plants. In the kitchen, a rebar pot rack becomes a functional centerpiece. Weld a grid or a radial design, add S-hooks, and suspend it from the ceiling. You could even add a pulley system to adjust the height. Lighting is another fantastic avenue. Craft pendant cages around bulbs, create angular wall sconces for Edison bulbs, or design a multi-tiered chandelier. The exposed, industrial look is perfect for ambient lighting. You can also build a functional room divider, a series of connected panels filled with woven fibers, glass, or metal mesh. Put it on casters to move it around, and consider adding holders for plants to create a living wall. For your garden, build trellises and arbors. Design geometric patterns for climbing plants, create arched entryways for paths, or build pyramid supports for vegetables. You can even weave whimsical shapes, like stars or butterflies, into the structure. Now let's talk about smaller accents. Heavy-duty rebar bookends, coat racks that look like branching trees, or essential fireplace tools with rebar handles. Frame a mirror with bent rebar for an industrial glam look, or craft spiral torch holders to plant in your garden for evening ambience. The finish is where your personality shines. You can embrace the natural rust and seal it, blacken the steel with a torch, or add painted accents for a pop of color. Try combining rebar with other materials. Pair it with reclaimed wood for a warm industrial feel, with concrete for brutalist modern, or with glass for something more refined. When it comes to joining pieces, welding is the strongest method, but you can also use authentic rebar ties, mechanical fasteners, or even decorative wire wrapping for a more organic look. A quick but crucial note on safety: always wear protection, gloves and eyewear are a must. Use an angle grinder or metal blade for cutting. For bending, heat helps with tight curves. Always grind sharp ends smooth, and remember, this stuff is heavy, so plan your support. Finally, choose the right sealant for whether your piece will live indoors or out. If you're just starting out, try simple candle holders or plant stands. When you're ready for more, move to side tables or wall art. And for a real challenge, take on a chair or a large sculpture. You can find rebar at construction sites. Just ask for scraps, metal recycling yards, online marketplaces, or even some hardware stores. At its heart, working with rebar is about celebrating the beauty in functional materials. It's that compelling contrast between industrial origin and domestic purpose. The best projects balance its raw strength with thoughtful, human-centered design. Don't fight its nature. Let its linear quality and texture guide you. Remember, the rust, the welds, the imperfections, that's not something to hide. It's character to celebrate. It's the story of transformation, of taking what was made to be buried and bringing it into our daily lives. That's the true alchemy of design. Let's leave the list behind and wander into the world of what rebar can really do. This isn't just about tables and shelves anymore. This is where creativity meets steel in surprising, fluid, and living ways. Imagine furniture that changes with your needs. Think of a modular rebar grid, like giant, industrial tinker toys, where standardized connectors and uniform bars let you assemble a daybed that becomes a dining bench, or a room divider that transforms into a clothing rack. Or picture grown furniture, where rebar posts set in concrete become the skeleton for living willow or ivy to weave around, slowly maturing over years into a living chair, where the rebar provides the structure and nature brings the softness. And for pure magic, imagine embedding powerful magnets into rebar ends, creating furniture you can reconfigure daily, or designing puzzle-like connections, and even levitating shelves that float between floor and ceiling, all without a single weld. Lighting becomes an architectural event. Envision glass-topped tables with LEDs glowing between the rebar layers, bed frames with light rising indirectly from the base, or chairs with fiber optic strands woven into their backs. For drama, craft intricate rebar screens to place before a light source, projecting dramatic, moving shadow patterns across your walls. A dynamic piece of art that changes with the time of day or season. Rebar steps beyond furniture to shape space itself. Suspend hundreds of pieces at varying lengths to create a floating cloud installation, or hang them like a rain curtain in an entryway. Weave rebar with vines or fabric for a privacy screen, or layer it with sound-absorbing material for an acoustic panel that's pure sculpture. Build indoor trees that branch to the ceiling, design fluid, organic stair railings, or create a rhythmic rebar pattern across an entire headboard wall. Outside, rebar brings structure and soul. Build a sculptural base for a fountain, create a heavy-duty rain chain, or craft rustic stands for ponds and bird baths. It can frame your garden literally, with modular wall planters, multi-tiered herb gardens, espalier frames for fruit trees, or an entire living wall facade. Create social spaces with an adjustable fire pit cradle, a heavy-duty swing frame, or a garden room defined not by solid walls, but by a framework of lines. The creativity gets personal. Rebar can be worn as jewelry, hammered into cuff bracelets with a patina finish, or shaped into miniature sculptures on a leather cord for a statement necklace. It can become functional art in your entryway, a sculptural hat stand, a coat rack in the shape of a tree, or an artful display for a handbag. It can be playful and interactive. Build musical instruments, wind chimes where different lengths create a scale, a percussion wall to play with mallets, or even a fence strung like a giant harp. Design a modern geometric jungle gym for kids, or a kinetic sculpture that moves with the wind. Don't forget pet furniture, a wall-mounted cat superhighway, or a decorative crate cover that turns a dog's bed into a design statement. Let rebar frame your celebrations. Use it as a seasonal skeleton, a Christmas tree form for lights, a spider web for Halloween, an arch for a wedding, or a modular base system that you clip different decorations onto all year round. To master the material, explore advanced techniques. Forge and texture it with hammers to create scale-like patterns, or use heat to draw out rainbow colors. Combine it with other materials. Embed it in clear resin for a river table effect. Use it as a form for thin-shell concrete, or even fuse glass between rebar grids in a kiln. And you can join it all without welding, using Japanese-inspired wedge joins, decorative knotted rope, or interlocking puzzle piece connections. Think in thematic collections. An industrial forest with stump side tables and branching coat racks. Deconstructed machinery with gear coffee tables and piston stools. An astronomy series with models of solar systems and constellation walls. This vision scales to commercial spaces. Modular product displays for retail, elegant menu boards for restaurants, branded walls for offices, and durable, artistic public furniture like bus stop shelters and bike racks. Underpinning it all is a philosophy, a rebar renaissance. It's about material honesty, celebrating every scar and weld as part of the story. It embraces zero waste, transforming construction scrap into beauty. It has educational value, making engineering and design principles visible and accessible. This becomes a community endeavor. Collaborative installations like a memory grid, where people add objects over time, or Skillshare structures built in public workshops. It can be social commentary, questioning the divide between industrial and natural. And the future? Imagine tech-integrated rebar with internal LEDs or touch-responsive surfaces. Envision biointegrated systems where moss grows over it or mushroom roots bond it together. The ultimate challenges await: a rebar tiny house framework, a greenhouse, a garden bridge, or even a portable emergency shelter system. To create like this requires a new way of seeing. See every bar as a line drawing in space. Understand that the empty areas define the object as much as the steel. Realize that what holds something up is the beauty. Play with scale, from tiny jewelry to monumental art. Embrace the contrast, placing the industrial in nature and the organic in a factory. Ponder the rebar koans. The strength is in the flexibility of vision, not just the steel. What else in your life is waiting to be reforged? Rust is not decay, it's a new skin. Your rebar legacy starts with one piece. Let it teach you. Feel its weight and memory. Each bend records your effort. Each weld joins your energy to its history. You are working with a material designed to be invisible, buried, holding everything up while never being seen. You are giving it a voice, a presence, a celebration. The urban forest awaits your harvest. The cathedral of industry offers its bones. Build something true. And there you have it. Creative, stylish, and totally budget-friendly rebar projects you can make yourself. If you enjoyed these ideas, please give this video a like, subscribe for more, and share your own rebar creations in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and happy crafting.